Right, here's a good one today, ladies and gents, from Lawrence Fox. Sadiq Khan has destroyed London. He refuses to tackle knife crime. He has to go. Listen, Sadiq Khan has got about as much chance of losing the election in London as a particularly clingy mother does of losing a baby beauty contest that she is the sole supreme authority over. And I'll tell you why. It's because Sadiq Khan has purposely imported hundreds of thousands of people who will only ever vote for Sadiq Khan. However, there's been loads of criminality on Twitter in the last 24 hours, so I'm just going to show you a compilation and then do a bit of a rant about it and tell you some hard facts and logic that might upset you, but only if you've got the intestinal fortitude of a histrionic 12-year-old girl and the IQ of a pull-along duck. So let's have at it. Right then, so there's been tons of rampant criminality on Twitter in the last 24 hours. Just an endless deluge of people getting battered, knifed, sexually assaulted. I've seen about 12 videos of Nigerian blokes getting their meat and two veg out in the middle of the street in Ireland. It's been a wacky 24 hours.
As soon as possible. And the ambulance.
This man was a bit nasty.
And the ambulance.
I'm on the train to Beckenham Junction. And this man stabbing someone on the train.
Now then, I can't show you the whole video because it'll get me instantly banned from the platform. But essentially, he is an engineer or doctor, clearly a highly educated gentleman from the third world, wielding basically a medieval weapon. That's a big knife. It's about 3 times as long as the one that Abu al-Zarqawi used to hack Ken Bigley's crust off when I was in Baghdad. Because that was shocking, that video. I used to make sure I watched them all because I like to make sure I'm very, very angry when I was on deployment. So I used to force myself to watch them all. And it's basically, he got his head chopped off with a potato peeler. So, I mean, I wish they were wielding a weapon that size when poor Al Biggers lost the argument with 25 indoctrinated jihadis. But this is what I'm talking about, and the main point I wanted you to take away from this lecture, let's call it a lecture, is that the biggest lie ever said by otherwise educated people was that violence solves nothing. Parents tell children that, so that when little Johnny is like 6 years old and he really, really wants the Kit Kat that little Timmy's got, he doesn't bludgeon him round the head with a particularly large sack of Lego bricks. And then the teacher walks in and finds him scranning the Kit Kat while sitting on Timmy's mildly bludgeoned, semi-comatose body. We tell children that because it's a pleasant lie to keep them in check. Just like Santa Claus. But just like Santa Claus, grown-ups are supposed to face the real world. And in the real world, if you've ever said the words, "Violence solves nothing," I regret to inform you that you have the IQ of a flip-flop. Violence has solved every single major argument. That is how they are ended. And peace processes only get arrived at after the violence. The IRA and the British government didn't come to an agreement because they just decided to do it. They had a few games of Connect 4 and Jerry Adams went, "Oh, we'll call it best out of 3, eh?" That's not what happened. They spent decades twatting each other and then they talked it out. Because if you think you can win by force of arms, you don't enter into any agreements. That's how it works. You could ask Napoleon, but the little bastard's been dead for a while. Violence solves everything, ladies and gentlemen, and people like this cannot be reasoned with. I could quote Kyle Reese from The Terminator, but you've all heard it. He will not stop, he doesn't eat, he doesn't sleep until he gets to stick it to his foe. That's the way these people operate. The only thing that stops them, it's not harsh language, definitely not harsh language. It's big burly coppers with big heavy truncheons. And in America, it's firearms, where we can see, and this is why I keep telling you how much trouble you're in the UK compared to out here in the States. This is how they are dealt with in the United States of America. You want to go home tonight, right? You picked the wrong day to go to work. Armed thug F's around and finds out.
Please, sir.
What do you have in your hand, dude?
Please, sir. Don't make me do this.
What's in your hand?
It's a gun. So please back up.
Hey,
Go over there by your car.
let me see your hand,
Go
dude.
by your car, please.
Let me see your
Go over there
hand.
by your car, please.
Let me see your hand,
Please,
dude.
sir. Please, sir.
Let me see your
Go by
hand.
your car. Go back to your car.
Just,
You
hey,
wanna go home
relax,
tonight,
dude.
Right?
Relax.
You wanna go home tonight?
Relax,
You wanna go home
dude.
tonight, right?
Relax.
I'm relaxed. Can you please go by your car?
Okay,
and
just put it down,
Okay,
dude.
go by your car. Then.
Okay, I will.
Okay, go.
Put it
You
down.
wanna go home tonight, right?
Just put it
You wanna go
down.
home tonight?
Suffice it to say that that goes on for a while, and then obviously said Bobby puts 10 or 11 holes in him, right? And to those people who were crying about that on Twitter, I have to say this. The reason the copper didn't simply go back to his car, you absolute lackwit, is because a cop's duty is to put himself in the line of fire. That's how it works. A bouncer has to go towards the trouble. That's why bouncers are a little bit aggressive. Because the world's worst bouncer is the one who looks over, sees 5 blokes about to batter each other while surrounded by women, and pretends he didn't see it and walks the other way. A bad cop is the same. The weak, spineless coppers we've been hiring in the Met for the last 10 years see trouble, pretend it doesn't happen, and then leave. We've all seen the videos where dog walkers have gone up to a copper and said, "What you just sat in here for?" when there's been like a double homicide round the corner. And the copper's like, "What? Nothing to do with me, governor." A good cop goes towards the danger, so he makes himself a target and not the civilian populace. A guy who's telling a copper, "I've got a gun and if you want to go home tonight, you best go back to your car," is a mass murder waiting to happen. I've made this point about people that are cruel to animals. If you're one of these weirdos who likes kicking puppies and kittens, you're one bad day away from going mental with a machete in the Metro Centre, right? This copper was doing his job. For blokes telling you, "Do you want to live? Do you want to go home tonight?" You can't just go, "Yeah, I do. I'll see you later then, mate," and pop on your way. Because what if he then goes to the local creche and goes ballistic with his Glock? Honestly, reading Twitter lowers your IQ by 10 points every day. The amount of endless stupidity under both of those stories. People saying, "Violence does nothing." And in the latter's case, "Oh, he could have just left. Why didn't he just go home?" It blows my tiny mind. So let me just sum up, right? Strap yourselves in and get ready for the worst. It gets 10 times worse before it gets better. I keep telling you lot this. Reed Heinlein, the bloke, was a visionary. That is what's gonna happen. In the novel, it's veterans who retake and rebuild society because it gets to the point where no civilian can go for a walk without getting set upon by a gang of thugs. Total lawlessness everywhere you go. And to people who think that this isn't going to happen, are there going to be less or more angry men on the streets next year? Just throw it out there. What about the year after that? Are there going to be less or more badly educated, angry men roaming the streets in a couple of years' time? Are the coppers going to be less or more inclined to deal with violence in a couple of years' time? Now that we've stopped recruiting bootnecks and paratroopers and SAS geezers, and now we've just got a load of little short, fat midgets rolling round the street. And I say rolling because half of them are probably in wheelchairs. We're in serious, serious trouble. And I've been telling you lot this for years. So if you're sensible enough to have been watching the Bootneck, well done you. You've probably took precautions, tooled up as many with as many legal weapons as you can in the UK, and got some very, very thick doors with some very big rusty locks on them. Because it's gonna kick off. Take measured steps to defend yourselves. Because this type of thing ain't going anywhere. There's not going to be less knife crime in a few years' time, is there? Think about it. Look who we're bringing in. Christ, if you brought in 50,000 badly educated, barely literate, angry 16 to 25-year-old Glaswegians, you'd be in trouble, let alone blokes from the poorest dog-eat-dog countries on planet Earth. But that's just what I think. Maybe I'm just being needlessly pessimistic. Let me know your thoughts in the comments as always. And if you're feeling chipper about the future, God bless you, because you haven't got the brains you were born with. All right, thanks for watching. See you all very soon. Toodle pip. Cheers.